So we can start. So hello everyone. This is Piyush Parani. I am an alumnus of IIT Kanpur 2020 batch, former leader of Students' Opinion Society, and I am currently working in an advanced analytic firm. Now let me talk a minute about Students' Opinion Society. Students' Opinion Society is a student club based out of IIT Kanpur, which is also the institute's first student-run public policy think tank. The club represents hundreds of students from the campus who are interested in the field of public policy and are interested to pursue their career in policy making and governance. The club explores current stories in international news, economics, finance, and geopolitics by examining the facts and providing historical context. We cover a range of political, philosophical, economic, and historical topics. Indian Governance Summit is our latest initiative to take a deep dive further into the world of public policy. Now, let me have the honor to introduce our esteemed guest and speaker for this session, Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Derek O'Brien. Mr. Derek O'Brien is a politician, author, television personality, public speaker, and quiz show host. The multiple award winning quizmaster of 25 years has taken on a new role in the last 15 years. He is a two-time member of the Rajya Sabha from Bengal, representing the Trinamool Congress. He is the chief national spokesperson of the party, as well as the leader of the Trinamool Congress parliamentary party in the Rajya Sabha. Mr. O'Brien is one of Indian Parliament's most recognizable faces and a leading and articulate voice of the opposition. His speeches and writings on issues of national importance are discussed widely in the national and international media. At present, he serves on key parliamentary committees. He has authored over 60 reference and quiz books, including the best-selling Inside Parliament. He has addressed students at leading educational institutions like Harvard, Yale, Columbia, IIMs, and IITs. In 2012, he was invited to address the United Nations General Assembly. Now, the time has come for me to invite Honorable Member of Parliament to speak on this new and virtual format of public speaking. Sir.
Hi. So, how many guys are watching this, Piyush?
So, sir, at present it is 46. We expect around 100.
Why don't we do something? And how long is this program for?
Sir, for 1 hour.
1 hour. I've had a
Yes, sir.
long day in Parliament and a very eventful day in Parliament.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
We saw the news. Means
yeah.
you can
So,
understand.
yeah. The first thing let me tell you is I never tore a book, and there's no footage of me tearing a book. That's for sure. So that is fake news. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I think what we'll do.
I think we lost him. Aditya, can you please check?
Yeah. Now, am I on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today, well, there are 50 of you. Good. Well, it's been Parliament. Parliament is. I'll try and make it non-political, but I'll just try and give you a sense today. Parliament is one of our great institutions, and one of the things about Parliament is that The opposition should have a say and the government must have its way. The opposition should have its say and the government must have its way. So the government will obviously bring policies. Like today, they've brought this farmers' bill, which passed in Lok Sabha. So when it comes to public policy and it comes to parliamentary rules, there are certain rules, regulations, precedents. The interesting thing about parliament is that I know a lot of you would think that this is discussion, debate happens on the floor of parliament. Yes, bills are discussed for 3 hours, 4 hours. But the main nitty-gritty happens when the parliamentary bills legislation is discussed in committees. So there are different committees of 30 MPs each, 20 from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha, because Rajya Sabha have lesser numbers. And these 30 MPs are divided up into different committees: defense, finance, science and technology, transport, all the different departments. So this is where the actual work happens, excuse me. This is the engine room. This is where the actual work happens. So this is contrary to public opinion that everything happens in parliament. No, it also happens in the standing committees. This also happens in the standing committees. The second thing is these bills and ordinances. I mean, it's very basic. You all must have known in your class 7 or class 8 civics book that when you bring a bill, it has to be passed in both houses of parliament, then it will become an act. Now, ordinances can only be brought in between sessions of parliament. So this is like emergency legislation. I'm just giving you some opening remarks because I don't know at which level you guys are, how political you all are, but I'm keeping it to parliament functioning. I'm not talking about any political parties. So ordinances for some emergency legislation. There are parliamentary democracies in the world, about 50 parliamentary democracies. There are other republican democracies. But in a parliamentary democracy,
So I think again we lost him. Maybe we can wait a few.
some problem with the net.
It's okay, sir. We can completely understand.
So the ordinances must only come in as emergency legislation. Then they have to be made into bills. So in the first 30 years since our independence, for every one bill passed, 47 to 75, out of every 10 bills passed in parliament, one was an ordinance. So it was used quite sparingly because it's an emergency legislation. The next 30 years, it was for every 10 bills passed, 2 were ordinances. Now that figure has gone to 3.5 ordinances passed per bill. That's a high number. So, you know, as an opposition MP, I always feel that we must use all the techniques. As I always say that 303 MPs BJP has in Lok Sabha. This is a fact. They have a majority. They got 37.36% of the vote. 37.36% of the vote. That's a fact. Other 62% voted for other people, but the fact that they are in government. In the same way, the chief ministers are also elected in the different states. So the federal structure has to be kept in mind. Because in the constitution, what is written there first is India, that is Bharat, India, that is Bharat, is a council of states, is a union of states. India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. So today, my appeal to always the young people is follow every ideology, any ideology you want. If you believe in the BJP ideology, I may disagree, but you can follow that, or a communist ideology, or a Congress party ideology, or Trinamool Congress. All these ideologies will come and go. But these great institutions of ours, the Supreme Court, Parliament, these institutions have to be protected at all costs. So today what happened in Parliament? Just because it's in the news, so I'll tell you. Government was bringing some bills, farmer bills. So on these bills, they passed, obviously, in the Lok Sabha, and in Rajya Sabha, what we were saying is I moved a motion to send these bills for further examination, because these things need to go to a committee to examine. So when that bill was sent, I've got to move a motion. My motion has to be put to vote. I may lose the vote, I may win the vote. But the government stopped the voting today from happening. I was not allowed to exercise my right, and that's why there was this ruckus. I'm not in a mood to give long speeches, so if there are, this is just my opening remarks. So in a parliamentary democracy, this is the situation. I told you a little about ordinances. By the way, there is no, except for India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, there is no other country, parliamentary democracy in the world, which has this ordinance emergency rule. No, if you want to change a law, you have to call a session of parliament. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh are the only three countries where this ordinance route is allowed. And it's actually quite interesting. How did ordinances start in the first place? For those of you who studied history up to class 9, 10 in school, this was the Government of India Act of 1935. Now, in the Government of India Act of 1935, the British Viceroy had to keep some power to himself. So what did they do? They had this ordinance. So anything could go wrong, but the Viceroy always could bring the ordinance. So the roots of today's ordinance is in that act. I think what will work better, Piyush, since you're the moderator, you're in Bhopal. Wow. Anybody can just unmute themselves, ask me a few questions. Let's make this a conversation. Let's not make this giving you some gyan.
Sure, sir. We can do like that. So any question will come from me only. I have
all
asked.
The questions are from you. Achha, achha,
No, no, no. Means the people will post questions in chat box and I will speak.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I can ask. I can start by asking my question first. So as we are the world's largest democracy, press freedom is an important pillar of any democracy. Now, let me state some facts. The Press Freedom Index rank of India is 142nd in 2020. In 2012, in 2002, the Press Freedom rank of India was 80th. So our press freedom ranking has decreased by 60 ranks in the last 18 years. Now, we can obviously criticize over it, but as students and alumni of prestigious institute like IIT, we are always taught to be curious about how to make things better. So what are your views on how this situation of press freedom can be improved? And another interesting thing is, this press freedom index rank is not even discussed in mainstream media channels. So what are your views on that? How this situation can actually improve?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, really, because you're absolutely right when you said it's one of the pillars of democracy and press freedom. And what is happening today is very, very scary. Today, for example, what happened in the Rajya Sabha in the afternoon is very scary. Parliament is going on. Bill is being discussed, important bill. And then the audio is put off. The picture, that is like you're muting the voice of your elected representatives. So it's not, I don't have an easy answer, but I just think it's up to the media now. I think a lot of people, independent voices are speaking up on the digital platforms. That is happening. So these are the kind of issues, but it's a very, very difficult one because if you have a media without a spine, it's going to become a big problem. And I think you're right. I don't have any easy answers, but I'll try and tell you today an incident where kuch alag se hua, because we realized that the Rajya Sabha was being censored, the pictures were not being sent out. So what did we decide to do? What did we decide to do? We decided that we should try and find some innovative way to get the message out, and we did just that.
Thank you, sir. I have one more question from my side. As till the time, I'll request everyone to post their questions in the chat box. So, a few days back, you would have read in the news that Google removed Paytm from their Play Store. So, what this incident meant was it gave absolute power to a foreign company to be the arbitrator. That in any case, means in any wrong case, they can remove a company altogether. So, my question to you is: shouldn't government regulate the cyber marketplace that is there in today's world? You would have also read that few months back, U.S. Congress had a similar kind of incident in their U.S. Congress where they called CEOs of top four corporations for the similar kind of thing that these are becoming absolute monopolies and they need to be controlled. So, is the government thinking on that direction that cyber marketplace should be regulated?
Piyush, your question is very nice. Is the government thinking of ways where the cyber marketplace will be regulated? Uh, I'm deeply involved with the opposition, so I'm not the right person to answer your question. So I really don't know. Um, but there are lots of issues with all platforms, and I think these are very serious issues. And I think it's linked to your first question. In all this, there has to be the freedom to express yourself. But on this one, on the government, I'm afraid you better get one of the mantris on your show to come and come and answer that question.
And sir, what are your views in this? Uh, means, do you think that it should be strictly regulated? Because a foreign company can't really remove an Indian company on its Play Store. This was really bad for our freedom of doing business for a company. So it was really bad in terms of how Indian economy is working.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's certainly something worth reading more about and considering. You have any more questions?
Uh, yes, sir. We have in the chat box from one of our guests. Sir, what will be the level of adverse effect to India from this farmers bill?
There are four issues actually. And the four issues are, it's the heart, the brain, the hearts, the lung, and the kidney. Our whole agricultural body today is built around the brain, the heart, the lungs, and the kidney. So the brain is our federal structure, which is the state's rules. The heart is MSP. The lungs are the procurement. ये तो the three, and procurement, MSP, state councils, and what is the fourth? I'm so so these are the basic reasons which are going to affect the farmers. Now, when it comes to this, there's a bigger question. You can't have a parliament session on Sunday morning for 4 hours and then decide to pass these farmer bills. There has to be deep consultation. That is how our fathers of the constitution structured our constitution. That's how these are structured. So there should have been a lot more debate and deliberation on this. As I said, because even the sharecroppers, the small farmers with under 3 acres of land, how will they negotiate with some of the big boys? You tell me. If it becomes a court case, how will these small farmers, I'm not talking about the big farmers, how will they handle the case? So, it's a kind of a, and not only the content of the bill, but the way this legislation is being rushed through. Next question. I'm here till 6:30 because I've had a very, very long day. So I'll take a few more questions.
Okay, sir. What is your view on one nation, one election policy, which was in the news at least before 2019 election? This is a question from one of our students.
J U M then blank blank. How? All these harebrained schemes, how is it going to happen? What is going to happen to the existing assemblies which are in place? What is going to happen to the parliament, and how are you going to align it up to? We have so many different states at so many different times. It's one time pass discussion. Chalo kuch charcha karna hai, chalo karo. To stay away from the main issues. The main issues are what? The main issues are, where are the jobs for the young people of India?
Yes, sir. Agreed,
Where
sir.
are the jobs? The main issue is, you had made all these promises for GST and you have not delivered to the states for GST. The main issue, if you're going to make the main issue about who bought ganja in Juhu, and then all the channels will run with the ganja story, that's not the solution. The main issues are people are going to ask you, you're running Digital India. Very good. Where is the data on MSME? Where is the data on migrant workers who are killed? Where is all the data? Every time you're answering a question in Digital India, what do you get to say? What do you got to say? No data available. Few more questions. Piyush?
Yes, sir. Now we can hear you.
Yes, Piyush. Next question. Last two questions.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, one question to what you said in the past, past 10 minutes back. Sir, in this way, whatever the party in power wants will pass despite the opposition. Do we see a diminishing opposition with the overpowered executive?
You don't see a diminishing opposition. You see a diminishing parliamentary system. Young people in India, you all must fight for this. You can't leave it only to politicians to fight for parliamentary democracy. You cannot. You have to try through civil movements, through civic movements to do all this. You can't leave it to a few hundred opposition MPs are going to fight. If you believe in the cause, as I always say, doesn't matter what your view on the farmer bill is, but at least follow the parampara of parliament. Parampara follow karo. मैं तो oppose करूँगा bill because our views on farmers, are strong. Let us assume you also think some parts of the bill are okay, but examine the bill, go through the systems. Go through the systems. These our great people who crafted our constitution, who've been in governance and in politics for public service for so many years, they must have had some thinking to this now. We can't throw it all away. We're not some dirty dictatorship. We're not some banana republic. We're a great country. We're a great country, and we can't throw it away. What will we tell our next generation? What will we tell our children? What will we tell our grandchildren? That you were sitting in parliament, all this was happening, and ladna hai, ladna hai. I wish you all the best for your careers. I'll take one more question if you want. Piyush,
Yes, sir.
or any question?
Yes, sir.
Last question. Last question.
One question from the student of IIT Kanpur. Sir, the social media is increasingly being controlled by the governments all across the world. Having marketed themselves as a medium of people's voice, how can the social media of today truly achieve that objective?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The social media is an evil, but the social media is also can be used for a lot of good. You know, and the internet and the social media, for example, telemedicine, or how information is being spread in a proper way. There's so many positives, but it really depends because otherwise, if you, I think I don't know if you'll watch movies, but you all should watch a movie called the Social Dilemma. You must watch this film. Then you must watch another movie. Just don't forget it. Watch the movie called The Great Hack. I'll repeat the name. It's called The Great Hack. It's a beautiful movie.
Okay, sir.
It's a film. It's a documentary. It's a great hack. It's about Facebook and how Facebook influences elections. So the great hack. The yeah. So it's a dangerous situation, but I'm still hopeful that the young people of India will take up these challenges, especially for those of you boys and young ladies of the country who have been to good schools. Your parents have blessed you with a good education. You have been privileged in that sense. So eventually, whatever you do in life, you should strive to make your parents proud. If you make that the goal in life, baki sab ho jayega. Everything else will happen. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening.
So,
My
thank
best
you so
wishes,
much, sir.
my best wishes to each of you. My pranam and respect to the seniors at home. Please give them my pranam and respect. And I wish you all in your careers. Go live your dream. Take some chances. Work hard.
Thank,
Bye. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a great pleasure for all of us present in this session to have you as a speaker. On behalf of our Students Opinion Society, I thank you for taking out your precious time, especially in the midst of current Parliament monsoon session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.